G'day folks, and welcome to World of Tanks with the Magnificent Margon. Yeah, I know it's been a long time. I haven't been organising my folders like I used to, where I usually put all my great games to make it easier for me to find them quickly and then be able to upload them into YouTube. So it's been a bit difficult in that regard, that I've been a bit slack in that regard at the same time, but nonetheless I have had some fun. Now this is the STA1. The STA1, being the Japanese medium tank. Now it wasn't, I've cursed and screamed over this tank for a very long time, and finally of recent days the tank has actually really started to come into an element with me, and I'm having a lot more fun and a lot better games. Now whether it's because I play this completely differently to how I do it, I use it as pretty well a sit back lightweight tank. Now this was a tank, the STA1 was basically a post-war tank developed on the basis of US designed tanks, and you can see that in the way it is. Just the way the body shape is of the thing, very blocky, very American. The turret, not so much. I think the turret, in my opinion, would very much represent something different. It's not an American style, but the gun is. Now this is a shot that I would not get in the past, but I did get it. Back in December 1956, there was only one of these made as a prototype. And I can understand that it's not a great tank. I haven't had a whole lot of good luck with this tank. Now whether that comes down to the fact that I don't have the engine power to get up and go like I need to at times, or there could be other factors that are involved. This is where things become a little bit hairy. Get stuck in this tank, and I realised that I didn't move as quick as I should have to get out of the way. Now I have got the damaged gun. The AMX 5100 really hammered me hard then. So nonetheless, I've decided to help the ISU 152 defend this corner. So I'll spot, hit the ground, let him do this next shot. And ow! That was a meaty shot. Now I've got to get in there and protect the flank of this IS 152. I cannot allow the AMX 5100 to get him, but in the end I couldn't do much. He focus fired him, but he's a magazine gun tank, so I know that he'll be out of shot soon, so that gives me a greater advantage over him, because he's got about, I think it's about a 9-second reload. So no, I don't think it'll be that long, probably longer than that. I actually don't know. Should know really before I say things. As you can see, he's still not loaded. He is loaded now though. He's decided it's time to battle against me. And I think that was a shot off my own guy. That was. I just bounced a shot from my own dude. The AMX 5100 was coming back to help me, and he actually hit me instead of the thing. Lucky that bounced. Very lucky it bounced. But anyway. Now I've played this a few more times. I'm looking through my folder for the battles, and I'll bring them up probably over the next few days once I dig them out. I played with Kaz on his T44, and it was one of those matches where it was a lot of fun. Now if I can find it easily, I know roughly where it's located, I'll put it up, but at the moment this is the STA1. Now with this tank, it only comes into its element with the top gun. Now a lot of people will say, oh, most tanks only come with an element with the top gun, and yes, that is true. That is very true. But at the same time, some tanks are great without the top gun, and you don't need it to actually perform and do quite well in. And I have found and come across this on occasions. But this tank in particular, if you do not have the top turret, you do not have the top gun, it is just not, it doesn't perform. It is just, it trolls me hard, and when I say hard, it trolls me very hard, because it just doesn't perform like it should, and it is really annoying. it could be so much better if it had this gun a little bit sooner and it wasn't such a grind. Now, to get from the STA 1 to the Type 61, it is a long road. And when I mean long, I mean long. I've been playing this tank for well over 6 months now. It's been a very tough slog to play in this tank. At the same time, it's been very difficult, purely and simply because of the type of tank it is. I don't know what it is, but it just, sometimes you get overcommitted with it and you die. Other times you sit too far back and you don't get enough damage. So 1500 damage, that's generally the average of what I do in anything above sort of tier 8. I do 1500 per battle. But it's this tank, I would probably do an average of maybe 600, depending upon the situation. So I'm getting better with it, and I think now that I'm starting to work out where it's strong, where it's not strong, and where I can improve, it's really helping me out a lot. There's that shot that went through from the MX or Lorraine 40, Lorraine 40 I think it was, yeah, the Lorraine 40T, straight through the gun mantle, right there in the middle. I've got one more battle to show you guys. Now the next battle is on my VK45. I haven't had this tank very long, but this is just showing how far it has come and how far I've come learning on it. And I love the VK45. I think it's actually a very good tank. So let's head over now and have a look at it. Alright guys, here is the VK45. As you can see, we're on airfield. Now, I am about to do something a little bit probably different to what I would normally do in a heavy tank, but that's only because of the location I am on the map. Now the VK45.2P Austin A, the vehicle started its development in 1942, so it was relatively early on in the war that it actually started development. 1942. Yeah, I had to think about that then. I don't know why. And it was actually quite a strong tank to what I've been playing lately. The body, the whole armor on this thing being angled like it is actually pretty tough. So you can play it very similar to a Tiger 2 and not do too bad. The turret on it though does let you down. The turret, basically because I have a stock turret, just really sucks. 100 mils of armor. Now, when I get this thing upgraded, you get 118 mils, and that is going to be amazing to have on this tank. It's just one of those things where the difference is noticeable. 185. Now, this is where I find things got a little bit interesting. Now, nobody was over here, but I was able to push up quite aggressively into the position, and I've bounced 2 shots already off my cup holder area, which has made me very happy. The only thing is, I just can't find the right position to be in, and of course the IS and the rest of my team haven't taken advantage of me being here, distracting the whole of the enemy team and bouncing shots, except for that one. That was when the M46 pattern became a little bit too scary and too dangerous for me, and I had to pull right back out of the way to try and take him on and get hull down. So that way then I'm a bit more protected. Now it was very dangerous, the whole situation. Here we go. Look at that. Straight through the light tank. Don't mess around. And there we go. He's just pounding me again. Now I'm on 82 hit points. Now you'll probably think, oh, this is a little bit reckless. Why would you do this to your own tank? Why would you get in a position like this? Now the only reason why I did was because it was a distraction. I didn't think I would lose as many hit points at the same time. I have lost far too many on this tank coming here. But I can get into a position now where I can now fight back and do some hitting of my own. I was clicking like mad right then to try and shoot him, and it was a wasted shot. I probably could have pulled back and gone on the other side to shoot the 44 or even the WZ, but I didn't, so that's the way it goes. My gun is just too high because I'm caught up on the rock ledge now. Still trying to use as much cover as possible to protect myself. 44 has tried to hit me. And no, yes, but I'm not reloaded, so it's not going to make much of a difference. Yes, got him. There we go. So that's my second kill. Now, I have got the top gun on this, which is the 10.5 centimeter, which is the same one as what you use on the Tiger 2. So it does give me a slight advantage from the word go. I've got the stock turret, but with the top gun. So the gun power makes up for the loss of what this tank is for me. Now, I didn't really realise that how much of this side was actually cleared out. I was actually hoping the IS and the A44 would move down the hill. Let's scroll around. As you see, the IS isn't too bad. The A44, well, that was a bit of a silly move, jumping off the cliff there. He could have come down a bit more safely than that. But as you can see, it was a very short battle, mainly because the enemy got caught up in positions and they were out of positions, and of course our heavy tanks have pushed through on the other flank very nicely. This could have been probably a little bit different if I hadn't gone this way and become a distraction. I reckon the pattern probably would have pushed over quite aggressively and caught us off by guard, along with a lot of the other tanks that he had supporting him. But because I was there, it gave him something to shoot at, which meant that realistically I was a higher threat. Now this is only scratching the surface of what I've done in this tank. This tank has been really good. I've just spotted the Tiger 1. I don't know whether he's AFK or whether he's just given up, so I didn't really want to take too much of a risk. I pulled out here. I couldn't get the top of his turret, which was, I thought, was a surprise. I thought I'd be able to, but I didn't, and that was all she wrote. It was actually sort of, realistically, kind of disappointing that this is the way the battle ended. It was done so quickly, but it really showed to me how much this tank could take before it really fell. As you can see, the weak points right through, get that out of the way, right through the gun point and the little driver's hatch as well as I got scraped up through the top there and through my gun point, which is fine because the angle he was shooting down on me, he was shooting down, so they're two very flat panels that he was hitting against. So realistically, the angle he was shooting at me, he would have been able to penetrate quite easily. Only having, I think it's too much in the way of hold on, hang on. I think it's 150-ish. Trying to think. It's around 150, I'm pretty sure. No, 120. I've just found it now. 120 that it has on the front, so it's not too bad. With that angling, you'll probably find it maybe getting up to 130, 140, but with him shooting straight down on it, he'd be able to easily penetrate me, and that's what happens. And of course, like the Tiger 2, the machine gunner's port is also a weak point on this one, so it's something to be mindful of. As well as, I've learnt recently that if I can get the angle right, just in here is a very big ricochet point for weakness, and you can actually penetrate through here. Regularly it's where you get your bullets stuck in the turret, and you can jam turrets by aiming for those positions too, because you're going down and wedging a bullet in there and other things. So it can be potentially weak in those regards. I've really enjoyed the VK45 so far. I've had a lot of really good battles. As you can see, 1000 damage, not too bad for tier 8. I think with a little bit more time and with the top turret on this thing giving me the 180 mils, being able to go hold down with this thing is going to be great, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get into this a bit more, as well as getting into its well, child or upgraded tank, the VK45b. The only difference is it has the turret at the back. Now I am used to playing with the turret at the back. I do have an FV215B, which is my tier 10 British tank, so playing with the turret in the back I'm used to, and I do enjoy playing with the turrets at the back of the tank. But outside of that, guys, look, I know these are 2 very short videos. I've stretched them out by waffling on a bit like I try to do to make it a bit more entertaining for you. I hope you've enjoyed these. Now that I've actually organised how everything's going to work again, got my folders in the order, spent a bit of time today, being a public holiday. I had a terrible headache today, so it's taken me a long time to do everything I needed to do. I kept having to stop and sit down, but it's starting to get better now, which is a good thing. Outside of that, look, trying my best to get back. I'm a bit jealous at the moment of my brother, Slicer Chris. He got a alpha key for World of Warships. Really want to go. I've been hoping to get something like that myself, but I haven't got it, and he got it. So it's a real pity that because of the way the disclosure stuff works, none of us can really talk about it. Well, he hasn't even shown me it yet, which I'm disappointed, but he can't do that because of the way the waivers and everything work, and it's something that I'm really keen to look at and get into when it gets closer and closer to getting into out of closed alpha beta testing, or beta testing, whatever they're calling it at the moment. So I'm really hoping to see that as soon as I can. I reckon it won't be too far away before they start going into a beta testing environment with World of Warships. It's sounding like they're getting into the final stages of it, so I'm really looking forward to that, and I am very jealous of the fact that my brother got into it before I did, and he doesn't even play tanks anymore. He's actually given up on tanks, but the way he works is that when he reviews stuff, he tries very hard to actually submit for everything that he could possibly play for, and just hopes for stuff like that. Now, he will not disclose anything on his channel. He will not show anything until he's allowed to show stuff, and they sort of release the ability to be able to do it. So once he's able to do a bit more, maybe he'll share stuff with me, and I might be able to share stuff here, but I highly doubt it, just the way everything works. And maybe I should just kill him and take his account, something like that. You know, brother love and stuff. But outside of that, guys, enjoy your gaming like I have. Happy hunting, and I'll catch you on those battlefields.